Agree. Kalamunda got up over Arcs 34-24. This was an absolute cracker of a game. Fantastic to see Arcs get out there and score some points. Apparently Russ Burgess was an absolute menace, as he always is. Great to see Cruz Anu get another win on the board out there as the director of rugby for the league team. Kalamunda, as they do every year, just started to hit their stride late in the season. Now, they're a good side.
Definitely. And this was a cracker game. I watched a bit of the highlights of this, and gee whiz, the boys were bashing each other. But boys from both teams, some played at Keller, some played at Arcs. They obviously had no love lost. So this was one hell of a game, and good work on Kalamunda. But Arcs, don't be too upset.
Yeah, no.
Good performance.
Absolutely. And Amanatu Apaneru's back. We saw him sort of burst onto the scene about 4 years ago. Played a few games for Spirit. He's an absolute star. He was great on the weekend. So hopefully we see a few more fireworks from him coming up this weekend. Moving down to the nest at Cottesloe. Big win over the Southern Lions. The premiership contender just put their foot on the pedal last week. 83-0. Not a great performance from the Southern Lions. I was there. They did try hard all day, but Cottesloe were just absolutely dominant. The skipper, Tobias Hoskins, was back at 8. He was really, really good. Scored the first try of the game and sort of set the tone. Ali Haining, just a lazy hat-trick, as he does. Broke about 45 tackles.
Absolute freak.
But some good things from Southern Lions as well. Their line-out was really, really good. Mm-hmm. And they've got a couple of outside backs that are seriously talented footy players. So they just need to get a sort of bit of depth and play the full 80 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the key to any game of football there, Dave. You know it. You've played a bit.
Yeah, strong. Very strong player, yeah.
But Cottesloe, 2 50-plus points wins. They are coming up against Curtin this week, and we'll get to that, but it could be 3 on the trot here.
Yeah, I think you're right there as well. Next up, Associates against UWA. Big game. We had Harry Scoble on the show last week, playing his 100th game of Premier Grade footy, which was a huge effort. Unfortunately, the UWA boys could not get up for him. Soaks won 46-26 in a pretty dominant performance against, possibly a finals team. They'll be very happy with that win.
Yeah, I think Soaks definitely are showing that they are finals material, and I'm going to tip them to go all the way to the Grandy. And that win there, unlucky for you, Rusty. Great work on playing the 100th, and mate, you're going to go on to many more. But I don't think UW sort of showed up.
Yeah.
And that's the honest truth. But, Soaks, they'll crack on.
Yeah, mate, just before we move on, look down the camera and stop looking at yourself on the screen. Thanks very much.
Mate, look how good he looks.
Next game, Netherlands 52-5. Big win over the Curtin Goats there. Netherlands just sort of steaming on. Once again, they're a very similar side to Kalamunda. They always seem to find themselves and find their stride towards the end of the season. That's exactly what they did. Big win over Curtin. But once again, Curtin put up a really, really strong fight for probably about 55 minutes of that game and then unfortunately ran out of puff. But they've got a big weekend this coming up, but unfortunately, they just couldn't do it against Netties.
No, and Netties obviously had a little bit extra in their sail there with Damo Pacheco.
Yeah.
Big Damo.
Big poo.
Absolute amazing effort. 250th game there for the club.
Yeah.
Massive effort. Played with him a couple times. Well, he's still on the field. I ran around.
Yeah.
That's Damo style, but he does a great job.
Wouldn't believe it, but he was a winger. You wouldn't believe it.
Got footage. No, good work, Damo. Congratulations, and again, a massive man for that club.
Yeah, champion of Rugby WA as well. Well done, Damo. And moving on, that last game there, Palmyra getting up over Joondalup. Victor, sort of second game in a row you've lost to a sort of top 4 team. How's Joondalup feeling after that?
Yeah, obviously tough loss of the weekend, but it was a competitive game, close all game. Credit to Pelly, they came in the end, won it, better side, won on the team, but every loss, we look to work on it, and boys looking pretty confident and ready for the next game. Yeah,
well said. Palmyra fullback Manny Hera Eden, very good player. He's also just killing it at the moment. It started off a bit slow, started the season, and now he's just back, and he's breaking lines. He's so dangerous with ball in hand, and they'll look to give it to him as much as they can, I think.
Yeah, I think his first touch of the ball last week, little kick return, break the line, bump off player, offload, and then they get the front foot ball. Like, he is potent, and he'll continue to put those performances in at the back end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's 2 on the trot for Joondalup, so they'll want to bounce back this weekend, but we'll talk about that game in a little bit later on. Dane, let's get into Super Rugby. The Western Force play the Brumbies tonight, 5 p.m. Australian Western Standard Time. Massive game at GIO Stadium. Look, it's going to be a big one. They had a very, very tough loss last week. Not a performance I'll be proud of. But this is a great game for them to bounce back against the number 1 team in Australian rugby at the moment.
And there's no doubt that they can perform at this level, and they've done it early on in the comp. A little bit slow towards the middle. But mate, they've got a cracker team line up here.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a couple of the ends like Henry Tofu.
Yep.
Back in the centres. Marcel back in. So and Brainerd 50th.
Yeah.
So there's
Some
a lot
things to play for. Yeah, I totally agree. Marcel Brachi's a bit of a barometer of this team, and I think him coming back, he'll bring that energy.
Yes.
Great defender, really good step with ball in hand as well. So, and Tafer's just a big ball. I think they'll just line him up, you know, short ball every night. Just go for it, mate. But look, this is a tough game. They didn't play well, the Brumbies, last time either, 24-0. So they'll want to bounce back from that and hopefully get a win on the board. Jack McGregor comes back into fullback. I really like that. I didn't mind him at 10 the last 2 weeks. I thought he was serviceable, but I just think he's so safe at fullback. Great boot on him. And also adds that bit of zip when they do try and kick to him. So I think it's good to have him back there as well.
Yeah, and Jake did a great job there at 15.
Yeah.
So, you know, him coming off the bench and being a bit versatile, like, he's going to add something. Richard Kahui off the bench. But then, like we mentioned there, Brainerd playing his 50th, coming off the bench, he's going to be angry.
Yeah.
Because he's not starting.
Yeah, I wouldn't get in his way.
He would rip off some heads. So, yeah, good luck, Brainerd, and well done on your 50th there, bud.
Yeah, and good to see Folletti and Tevin Ferris both returning from injury. Hopefully they get on and get a good performance in there. Love the way Ferris is going about it at the moment. He's a legend. But now we know the rivalries between these two teams has been thick over the last few years. Rugby WA posted a great try from a few years ago. 2013 it was. The Badger running a nice tight line off the back of a scrum. Junior Rasalia then going over the line. They were the good days. It'd be good to see a few more of those on Friday night. But always been a fierce rivalry between the two teams. Check this video out.
Pulled the pin out of the grenade and bang. What a start for the Brumbies.
It doesn't faze us, it doesn't scare us coming up against the best team in the comp. They're the hallmark of Australian rugby. They've won the Australian Conference for the last 4 years. We knew heading into that game they were going to be a tough and physical challenge.
It's only taken him 90 seconds.
After the first 5 minutes, they went bang bang with 2 tries, and it was just it happened so quickly.
And he'll slide in for the second try. They've done it again.
You make one mistake, miss a line out, or miss a tackle off a scrum, a good Super Rugby side will score points there, and that's what they did to us.
We spoke about not letting it rattle us, so 14 points down after 10 minutes is never good, but I thought the boys showed a lot of determination to stay in it after that.
We went to work and tightened up our defence, and we really attacked their try line, but credit to them, their defence was unreal. We couldn't bust their line.
Certainly up front, very good. This guy's been great. The back row has been excellent.
There's a lot of belief in this team that we can do the job, and now we've played them, we've taken the lessons that we needed out of it, and we'll be better for it next time we come up against them.
We just need to fire, and we need to back our skills and really spread them around, because at the end of the day we want to test ourselves against the best in Super Rugby, and at the moment they are the best.
Straight in the arms of Braki, read it well.
Yeah, I definitely think we can beat them. I mean, we play an expansive style of rugby, and it's a fast game, and we can really tire out teams with that direct footy.
Being in this environment, in this culture, we back ourselves against any team in the world, and if you say we can't do it, we're going to go out there and prove you wrong.
Welcome back. Great rivalry coming up on Friday night. Just before we move on, we might have missed this at the start of the show. Cambridge Corner Store, very big fan of the show. We're a big fan of you, your coffee, your food, probably the best pie in WA. You also might have missed, this is Victor from Joondalup and Grayson Makaro from Wanneroo. Both Future Force boys come through the pathway at Rugby WA. Fantastic to have them on the show. We're going to talk to them right now, actually, crunch time, about a massive game this weekend. They're going head-to-head, Wanneroo v Joondalup. Grayson, we'll start with you, mate. This is a big game for both clubs, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
King of the North. That's the new name. I think Harry came up with that one, actually. Good on Harry.
Probably not.
King of the North. Probably, yeah, it sounds too good to come out of Harry. Is this kind of the big derby up there now, Grayson?
Yeah, mate. Every time we verse each other, it's always a big match. Always close calls.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the first year I started Prems, I wasn't able to verse them. But last year we got the win, King of the North, so hopefully we can keep the cup this year.
Yeah, Victor, this one must mean a lot to Joondalup. As we said before, you've lost 2 on the trot. Is this one you need to win?
Yeah, need to win. We're also pretty keen to get over Wanneroo, get the cup back, and yeah, just a little boost again to get the boys up again.
So, what's the sort of vibe and what's the sort of chat been like at training after 2 on the trot and coming into such a big game this weekend?
It's all been pretty positive. Like we know, like if we start getting negative, we probably won't do well. So the boys are looking confident. Last night training was down there, good drill. So yeah. Positive.
And Grace, there's obviously been a real visible change in the way that Wanneroo are playing this year. They're just playing a lot more freely, scoring a lot more tries than usual. What have you noticed? What's changed?
Just a bit more confidence in our boys, like just playing heads up footy, backing it like everyone's like options in that. Just playing, smart, fun.
Love that. Dan, you got any questions, mate?
I do, Grace. I see there you step into a leadership role there at Wanneroo. Quite young.
Yeah.
Is there any more added pressure that you think from your game, or do you just play at that carefree and just look to score tries, mate?
Just play how I've played every other game, really. You know, well, we like laughed about me, and the next minute got the call up, so I was like, yeah. But I just got to stick to what I know, you know.
Perfect. Lead by example rather than the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with Andrew King, Big Kingy, fantastic club veteran. It's pretty tough loss to have him out of the game, Grayson.
Yeah, well, he's a very dominant player. He's a good leader as well. A lot of the boys follow him. So, yeah. But as long as Mark and myself, lead the team out, nothing should change.
Love that. And, Vic, how are you going to beat the boys in green on the weekend?
Just play our rugby, play simple rugby, take it back to what we know what to do, and hopefully that'll be enough to get over them.
No secret. Well, Victor keeps it pretty close to the chest, doesn't he? That's going to be a big game. Wanneroo taking on Joondalup. You heard it here first. Dana, let's get into the rest of these matches.
Yes.
Perth Bayswater taking on Coastal Cavs out at Pat O'Hara Reserve, your stomping ground where you were signing hundreds of autographs last weekend. Perth Bayswater will be very keen to bounce back.
Yeah, I was there for that Perth Bayswater historic win over Neddies. Not going to say I was the reason, but I won't be out at Pat O'Hara this week. But I do think Baysy will bounce back from their loss.
Yep.
Coastal will put in a great performance. They are playing well in that first 40. They just need to kick on now.
Yep.
And I think it'll be a close game, but Baysy just by 10, I reckon.
Good call. I agree with that one. Arcs taking on UWA out at Harrisdale Pavilion. UWA will be really keen to get a win on the board after that loss against Soaks last week. I just want to see Arcs come out and perform like they did last week against Kalamunda. That's what I think. Look, I don't know they'll get the win, but I'd love to see them test UWA for the full 80 minutes.
I think they'll get the win, Dave.
Whoa,
I think they're playing at home, had a lot of confidence from last week's win. UW obviously coming off that loss against Soaks. They won't be happy, but I think that may have just chinked their armour a bit too much, and I think Arcs could get this upset.
That's a massive call. I reckon you're going to be eating your words, Lazarus. But anyway, moving on. This is a big one. This is going to be a bruising affair. Palmyra taking on Kalamunda out at Tompkins Park there on the beautiful foreshore of Palmyra. This is huge. Massive game for both teams.
This is going to be a fantastic game. I will be watching this one closely. I can't even pick it, Dave, to be honest. Gee whiz, this is going to be a cracker. And I think Kalamunda, if they play their dominant forward game, which they only know how, this could put Pally under a lot of pressure. And we had obviously Jackson on a couple of weeks ago, and I think he's going to have his work cut out.
Yeah.
He could get bashed a little bit, but I think he'll step up. But I think at home, maybe Pally.
Hopefully he plays a bit better on the field than he did perform on this show. So, Jackson, good luck, mate. Big game for Palmyra. They need to win that to stay in that finals contention too. So, but Kalamunda just really heating up the end of the season as they always do. That's going to be a cracking game. I'd get down and watch that if you can. Associates taking on Nedlands, another huge game. I feel like every game's huge this time of season, but these are two teams. Soaks want to just keep on rolling, keep using that momentum, and Nedlands will want to stop a team like this at a point in the season.
This is a big one because it could define where you finish on that table, and no one I think is wanting to play COD at the moment. So if you finish in that fourth spot, you could be out round one of the finals. But finals is another thing. But I think Soaks should get up here against Neddies, who's had a bit of an up and down season. But it's Neddies.
We've seen in previous years though that Nedlands have sort of been, I guess, the kryptonite for Soaks. So whether or not they can keep that, I guess, run of wins up is hard to say, but I'm gonna pick Soaks here. I just think they're in such a good vein of form, and their old boys are really performing at the moment.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, good tip. I like it. West Scarborough taking on Southern Lions at Bennett Park. Southern Lions obviously coming off a hefty loss last week. They'll be very keen to get back to how they were playing earlier in the year, testing some of these better teams. And I honestly think if Southern Lions can come out and play their best footy, they can beat West Scarborough.
Could be an upset here for sure. Playing it away though could be tough.
Yep.
That old pig pen. It will be
the travel again. Big
the
factor.
Travel will be a factor. Weather will be good. So look, you'll see both teams throwing it around. Southern Lions love throwing it around.
Yep.
A lot of big Fijian
Yeah.
contingent, and they love playing footy out down there, and they'll throw it around for sure and could
Yeah.
be an upset. But I think the Pigpen.
I tell you what, we focused on this guy from Southern Lions a few weeks ago on Rugby WA, the number 6 for Southern Lions. His name escapes me at the moment, but he is incredible. He's come over from the US. He was easily the best player from Southern Lions, and even though they lost 83-0, he was almost the best player in the park.
Wow.
He was incredible. I know Tobias Hoskins struggled tackling him most of the day, so and that's no mean feat. So good luck to Southern Lions, but I still think the Mighty Boars will get up there on the weekend. Next up, Curtin Univ Cottesloe. This could be a big one. If Curtin don't come out and play the full 80 minutes of footy, they're going to get a big score put on them. But look, I can't wait to get out there and watch this one. Curtin University, fantastic place to watch rugby. Great club, great selection of beers in the bar. So I'll be down there very early, getting on it, and looking forward to watching those two teams go head to head. But I think Cottesloe may just get the win here.
There's always some tricky things that happen in rugby, and I think Curtin could make it scrappy as hell and really challenge Cottesloe, who they can't take their foot off the pedal here.
Yeah.
They want to put in a good performance. Yes, they've got a couple strong wins under their belt, number of wins, but they can't let this one slip because that could really derail their season.
Yeah, totally agree.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, good call. We'll talk about that one next week. But match of the round, we were just speaking to the two gentlemen on our right here. It's a big one. It's the King of the North battle, Wanneroo v Joondalup at Kingsway, Roo Dogs home game. Live streamed on Rugby WA YouTube page and the website. And it will also be replayed on August 30 on NITV at 11:30. Thanks to the boys at LMSC. That's going to be a cracker. Match of the round. It's absolutely huge. Also, it's a big one for the season. Both of these teams could be in the Final Four, or most likely will be in the Final Four. Wanneroo won this last time. They'll want to keep that going, but Joondalup want to change the trend. Who's your tip? Now. Tell me now.
I'm going to pick Wanneroo.
The boys are interested in this one.
Wanneroo. Sorry, Vic. I'm going to pick Wanneroo. Again, that big win. Joondalup, 2 on the trot against top teams, and they're sort of starting to probably doubt themselves. Victor, you say no. All right. And that's the honest truth. I think Wanneroo will get up.
Yeah, here first. It's Bible according to Lazarus. I'm going to go with Joondalup on this one. I just think they'll bounce back. They're a great team, great club. Sheldon Tawara is an insane player. There's rumours that he might not be playing, that he is playing. I reckon he'll play because he just loves footy too much. They are missing Clay Ewan and apparently Cade Pearce as well, but they've got the depth, I think, to beat them. And I don't reckon Grayson will score on the weekend, so that's me. So just to put some fire in the belly of the young fella over there. No, that's a big one. Huge games coming out this weekend. You've got to get out there and see it as we come towards the end of this season into finals. Get down there. We've got some fantastic places to watch footy this weekend. The weather's going to be great, Dane. Where are you going to be, mate?
I think I'm going to head on a Pally, Tompkins Park.
Yeah, I think that's a cracker. That'll be a absolute bruising affair. Now, Dane, move on. Favourite segment, TMO Clip of the Week. What can you tell me about this?
Winiata Sherrington. Gee
Yes.
whiz. A lot of people would have heard his name coming through our pathway. Aaronmore, a college student, and has represented Australia in sevens, youth sevens. He's moved over to Sydney, playing Colts rugby there in Sydney, and this clip here, Dave, gee whiz, shows what the calibre of this individual is, and he's looking to chase his sevens career. But I think have a look at this clip and see what you see.
That final score there. What did you just pop, Will?
Look, I was caught. I was getting stuck into the bricks. Perfect mixer for the Fever Tree ginger ale. Carry on, Shawnee. We've got a bit of Randwick and Southern Districts.
Do you know what the perfect accompaniment to watch these highlights from Winiata Sherrington? This bloke's come across from WA. Producer Trav has spoken to Morgan Turunui Club director and said, what's he about? He said he came across from Western Australia chasing some sevens action. Look at him. Lot like Maurice Longbottom, beating guys first up, and he's got that acceleration as well to get in behind. Look at the grubber ahead, the regather. He is firing, and we saw him have a hand in his back row partners, or this try, which we saw in the running for the try of the week earlier in the show, guys. Look at that, just holding it up, checking runners left and right, getting it around the corner. So this is Winiata Sherrington, a real find all the way from WA and killing it for the Colts at Randwick.
Yeah, outstanding stuff, isn't it? Cheslin Colby-esque, obviously the headgear, but...
How about that? Young Rugby WA talent, Winiata Sherrington.
Thoughts?
Cheapers. He is a jet. So he's gone over to Sydney to try and chase a bit of a sevens career. I absolutely love that. We love seeing Rugby WA talent move on to those sorts of things. We'd love to see him come back one day, playing the blue jersey, but he is rapido.
He is fast, and my hamstring hurts just watching him run, mate.
Correct.
Gee whiz.
How bad would it be on the other end of that, watching him come towards you?
I
wouldn't get near him.
I would let him go.
Yeah, I agree. Let him through. Let the boy play. He's a gun, comes from a very good family of rugby players too. His sister's an absolute guns as well.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll see him progress and put on the green and gold for Australia one day. That's it for Let's Chat. Huge episode. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Victor Harris. Thanks to Grayson Mackay for joining us, boys. Good luck this weekend. Big game.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Well done. Well done. Very good performance from those two, Dane.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Better than Jackson.
Yeah, we actually might sub them in for you, but who knows. That's it. Big weekend of rugby. Make sure you get down to some games. Get out to see the juniors. Beautiful weekend. I say this every week. We're very lucky to be in Perth, WA at the moment, where we can get out and go watch a game of rugby, have a drink on the hill, enjoy the sunshine, and enjoy, more importantly, the rugby, Dane.
Absolutely.
We'll be back next week. Thanks for joining us. This is Let's Chat. See you later.